portal keepers, gatekeepers, stargate folks. Just imagine that you are a black ball of light and you left your past existence and you're traveling through space and time. You're happy. You have all of infinite potential at your disposal. And you go through this black portal, which is your mother's birth canal. You arrive into the arms of your new family. If you're blessed, your family's holding you and giving you maybe 3 or 4 years to play, just to play. Go ahead and open your eyes. Now you're taken to a strange place. This place doesn't have a whole lot of windows. It's got really hard chairs that are separated from your friends. And you're asked to sit there for 6, maybe 8 hours, listening to people talk about things that just make no sense whatsoever. Not only do they not make sense, but it doesn't even seem true. It seems like false. And it also just seems completely irrelevant. You're removed from your family, from your friends, from playtime, from nature, from your natural flow. And all the time your soul is stirring. It still remembers that ball of light that came into this world. It remembers its happiness. It remembers freedom. It remembers its infinite possibilities. And with every day that passes, every year that passes, you kind of notice that your imagination is shrinking, your innovation is dissipating, your problem-solving skills, your people skills, your creativity, your energy force is weakening. As does your heart and your mind. And then you're told that this is your path for the next 21 years. Fortunately, so this is what a lot of us have experienced with education. Yeah, that was my experience. But fortunately, there are many new things opening up. Home schools, unschools, private schools, alternative schools that are actually somewhat sustainable, and holistic minded. Because we know that these alpha gen kids that are being birthed right now are not the same as us. And they're not going to put up with those institutions, those prisons anymore. Yeah. So, the alpha gen kids that I'm working with now, I am seeing them coming into this planet like supercharged, like getting downloads and, accessing mediumship, the precognitive abilities, psychic abilities, knowing what they came here to do. And so the good news is that there's some schools that are actually starting to realize this. Unfortunately, what I'm still seeing, though, is that few of them are still lacking the understanding that the soul's purpose, that there is actually a purpose inside every human being. And it's an individual journey. And how do you take that journey? How do you take that journey of self-exploration? So here's what these kids actually need. Our new Earth children, our Alpha Gen, and even the Z Gen kids, what they need. They need safe spaces to be authentic. They need their soul to be seen, and that's Shannon's language, by the way, is they need to have their souls witnessed. They need safe spaces to talk, about their feelings, good and bad. To talk about their shadows, to do shadow work. These kids need to do their shadow work too. They need to explore their skills, their passions, their interests, their callings, which is unique to only them. they need permission to use their psychic gifts and to not be ostracized or judged or shut down or suppressed. They need to have their consciousnesses developed. They need consciousness training, just like we all do. How many of you are doing consciousness training? Is there anybody in here not doing consciousness training? And they need to be grounded, you know? They need to have spaces where they can walk on, thank you, walk on the feet barefoot. Because to fly high, we have to be connected to Pachamama. We have to be grounded. We have to have our force fields managed. So, and these kids are ready to fly, but they don't really know how to connect to this planet, like most of us. These kids need to start solving real things. You know, education is like I see it as sort of like a manufactured, kind of like a manufactured Disneyland, but a not fun one at all. It's detached from reality. It's like if you go to a college campus too, it's like here's a little bubble. Let's drop them in this little bubble and like pretend that this is the real world. And then when they leave the bubble, they're like, what is this place? So they need real physical tools. Like they need a toolkit for living, just like we do. And not just philosophical knowledge, conceptual, but really, how do I live on this planet? They need to be guided away from conformity, right? And stop seeking validation outside of themselves and seeking connection outside of themselves. They need to find that connection, their own inner authority, within themselves. So they need places to help them do that. They also need conscious communities just like us. And they don't have a car. They can't just go drive to ecstatic dance or to the yoga class or to these world, events like this. So they need us to find events for them, places for them to connect and create their conscious communities as well. Yeah. Are you a mom? How old are your kids? You have a 3-year-old, yeah. But you're seeing this, yeah. So I don't know if Kevin and Carol are still here, but I'm stealing this from y'all. Thank you. He's getting a massage. So Kevin, his language is, energy, or the game of life and manifestation. It's an energy game. And I love that word, so I stole it. It's mine now, too. So we all know that everything is energy. It's vibration and information. So these kids, I already said that. So we also need to guide them from the vulnerability. So with this inner authority, it will help keep them from like the programming tricks that are going on still in the 3D world, which are going to continue to go on for a while. So if they have their inner authority, they're not going to fall prey like we did to all the BS. So lastly, these kids need to connect to their soul purpose. This is an ancient tribal idea, that there's a place for everybody on the planet that they uniquely belong, that belongs to them uniquely. So we need to help them find that little spot. It's the anchor. If you get people connected to their soul purpose, it is the anchor that will help them have the confidence, the self-love, the resilience that they need to navigate this sometimes, harsh world that we live in. Also, when kids are connected to their passion, they are just naturally motivated. You don't have to force them to clean their room anymore. They actually want to. I have kids that say, I can't wait to clean my room today, because I got to get to that thing that I want to do. So it encourages curiosity, imagination, motivation from inside. And it gives them access to the organizing principles of the world. The organizing principles of the world have to do with synchronicity and have to do with access to a higher self. So when you're in alignment with your purpose and your passion, you have access to the organizing principles of the universe. And then they can keep their gifts of channeling and precognition and psychic ability and joy and happiness. So what do I have? How much time do I have left? 5 minutes, okay. So I'm just going to share a couple of real life stories of kids that I've worked with to kind of bring this in. So I have a 12-year-old that came to me. Her mother actually hired me to do one-on-one coaching with her. She was sleeping until 3 in the afternoon. She was unschooled and not doing a very good job of it. And didn't want to get up. She was depressed because they moved from a different state. She didn't have any friends. She didn't want to do anything. She was just completely unmotivated. And we got her connected. I said, what do you really want? What do you want in your life right now? I want to play guitar. I want to write books. And it's like 6 weeks, literally, that's all it took. She manifested 2 guitars, 2 rock bands. She's got 35,000 words written for 2 manuscripts for 2 books that she wants to publish. At the Young Entrepreneurs Festival, I saw her connecting with a couple of other kids that already had books published, at that age, and she was getting all the information about how to get her books actually printed. I have another girl, 10-year-old, Sophia, who at our summer camp, I have a really good gift of body language. So I could tell when this little girl was getting downloads because her body would like soften and her eyes would open and she would, and she said that she can connect with Ganesh and Archangel Michael in just 2 minutes. Any question that you have, she can just go up and get the answer and come right back down. That's all it takes for her. So her mom called me and said, hey, Sophia wants to buy a crystal dragon head and it costs $333. And she said, I was wondering if we could talk about some entrepreneurial ideas about how she could earn it for herself. And I'm like, yeah, she should be doing intuitive readings, And as a matter of fact, I have a few people that I know would be really interested. So I sent her, every time I mention Sophia, people are like, what's her number? So she's definitely earned the funds to buy her crystal dragon head. And she's launched her website. And on her website, she wrote herself, she said, I am the Starseed Oracle, and I came here to help humanity shift from the 3rd dimensional reality into the 5th dimensional reality. Her words, 10 years old. So, she's also got a YouTube channel too, and she's starting to do, when she gets her downloads, she's recording them on YouTube. So, these are some of the kids that we're working with. Where am I in time? I have another one, but if I have enough time, I'll do it.
Yeah, you still have plenty of time.
How many more minutes? 3 or 4? Okay. So I just want to quickly share why I started doing this work. So my daughter, this is another story too. So my daughter, she's 27 now. She came out of the womb with a violin in one hand and a paintbrush in the other, and I tell this story to all the kids in my programs, and they're like, thinking realistically, how did that happen? And I says, no, it's just metaphorically. I knew she was gifted, at 3 years old in both, and so I put her in the Waldorf schools and had violin teachers and art teachers and, the whole works, right? So then she decides to go off to college, to Michigan State University, and study like accounting and marketing, And her dad and I are like, what? She's like, well, I don't want to be a starving artist, and I don't want to fight about money like you and Dad did. So I'm going to go and get a real job in the corporate world and make real money. She goes off to Michigan State. Every time she called me, she was so miserable and so depressed that sometimes we would have to talk for 3 hours just to get her to go to classes in the morning. She hated the school, the campus, she couldn't find her people, she didn't like the music program, nothing. And so 2 weeks before finishing her freshman year, she calls me up and says, Mom, I'm just not feeling well. And I still can't get through this story without crying. I said, we're going to go up north People from Michigan will know, like, we're going to go up here and there's some of the sleeping bear stand dunes. I'll make you your green smoothies and we'll walk on the earth. You'll be fine. But we'll go to the doctor and get you checked out before we go up there. Take her to the doctor, and she had leukemia. I mean, it's a short end of the story, so diagnosed with leukemia. And, rushed her to the University of Michigan Health Center, where we lived for the next month. We lost the beautiful black hair that was down to her back. 2 minutes, okay. While she's in her bed and I'm rubbing her, doing my hippie thing and rubbing her bald little head with frankincense oil and chanting the mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, I said, honey, would you consider transferring colleges and doing what you love? There's a program in Columbia, in Chicago, live and performing arts management. It's got exactly what you want to do. I've asked her a dozen times, it was always no. And then I told her, Louise, hey, what happens? Disease, right? Not at ease. Not at ease, I believed in my heart, came from what she says about leukemia, by the way, lack of creative flow, lack of excitement in life. And my daughter's now a woo-woo like I am. She's like, she normally rolls her eyes when I talk about that stuff, but she didn't this time. She transfers to Columbia College. The phone calls from then phone were, wow. She made it through the leukemia, 6 months of arsenic drip in this horrendous treatment program. But she makes it to Columbia College. The conversations were, I am so happy, Mom. I can't believe this is my life. I have found my people. I'm hanging aerial silks from the warehouses. I did backup violin for a guy who just did an album. And she's producing live events, like she wanted to do. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I'm looking at